Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. Today will be part 2 of slab prep. So the first thing I'm going to do is put down poly. I'll seal around the foundation with acoustical sealant, and then any penetrations, any water pipe, the toilet, vanity, that will all be sealed with tuck tape. So guys, by the end of this video, you're going to see what modern code is in BC for at least under slab. I will pour concrete and then we'll come back when I go to level the concrete out. So what we'll do now is we'll go over material and tools for poly. Alright guys, this is our material and our tools list. So we have our 6mm poly. I have tuck tape, a couple rolls of acoustical sealant. For tools, silicone gun, and a laser. Guys, this is all we need for this job, so let's get started. Alright guys, so I put down the poly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a bead of acoustical sealant here. So the line is going to be the finished slab. Now, because we're not going to put a wall on the inside, I'm actually going to put the bead of acoustical sealant below it. And then when we pour concrete, we're going to have a nice transition from our slab up to here. Normally I'd go higher up and then they would build a wall in front of it. But the homeowner doesn't want to lose any space in here because it's already so small. But what I'll do is I'll start from that end. I'll put a bead of acoustical sealant all the way down the line. We'll press that into place. And then we're going to continue going around the room. Alright guys, the one thing about acoustical sealant, and I cannot emphasize this enough, this stuff is absolutely horrendous when you get it on yourself. It's sticky, it's gooey, it's just disgusting. So at all costs, do your absolute best not to try to touch it or get anything on yourself or something else that you may touch, because it's just horrendous stuff. Alright guys, so when it comes to your acoustical sealant, you want to make sure that you don't have any spaces. You want a continuous bead all the way across. Of course, this doesn't look as nice because I'm doing this on my own, but the key thing here is you don't want any spaces. So for example, this in the corner, there's a space. You have to eliminate that, otherwise you're defeating the purpose of doing a sealed room using the poly. So what I'm going to do is I will go around this side, and then once I'm all finished with this piece, we'll come back and see what it looks like. Alright guys, so I did a bead. In case you're wondering why I went so much higher here, there's going to be a cabinet, so all of this is going to get covered up. So me going higher to make a continuous seal is perfectly fine. But what I'm going to do now is I need to tuck tape around our penetrations. So guys, just make sure that you don't miss anything. Don't have any pinholes or anything like that, because once again, that is defeating the purpose of what we are doing here. Alright, so we have our tuck tape, and all we're going to do is tape around anything that was cut out. Guys, be liberal with the tape. Alright guys, so like here, because I had a ripple, I cut it and then I just put a piece of tape over it. Guys, you can bridge things with tuck tape if you need to. Just try not to make it a habit if it's at all possible. But this is done here. That is done there. What I'm going to do is I will go and do all this here. And then I'll finish off with the shower, and then we'll come back when everything is all done, and we'll see what it looks like. Alright guys, so that now concludes pawling for the slab. So in case you're wondering what the block is there, that is going to be a knockout for the shower drain. So concrete will go around it, and then when I am ready to install the shower stall, I'll break that out, and then on the inside I can cut the poly, and then I will put a trap in. The reason I didn't put a trap in on rough-in is because I'm not 100% sure what the homeowner wants for a shower stall. I mean, I gave them my recommendation, but in case they change it, more than likely the shower stall will have a center drain. And by doing it this way, that is going to minimize the amount of chipping or any type of adjustment that we need to do to get the trap arm for the shower in line with the base. Sorry, in line with the shower stall. Alright guys, that's what it looks like now with everything taped up. Guys, this is a fairly mindless job in my opinion. I mean, this is something that laborers would do on site. But with that in mind, with this all done now, the next step will be to pour the concrete slab. Alright guys, our tools list. So we have our trowel and then our cross laser. This is all I need to level out this slab. So let's get started. Alright, so the slab is now poured. We are still in, I guess it'd be the leaching phase. There's still quite some time before I can do a final finish. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my laser and I'm going to see how level the slab is. Guys, I've purely eyed this out just because of space constraints in this area, but we'll see how I did. Alright, I'm going to take my cross laser and I'm going to put it on my 2-inch lab drain, which is this. The reason I'm going to do it here is because I'm going to be stepping up and down on things. Alright, so guys, with the beam, all I'm going to do is measure in different places to see what the measurement is. Because the laser is level, I have a straight reference point. Alright guys, so from this area that I just checked, I'm within a 1/4 inch. And that is all without doing anything. That's purely eyeing this out and doing it by feel. But guys, now is the time to make any corrections, adjustments. Here the concrete is still nice and wet. Here, this is really at the tail end of when you can work with this. So I'm going to fix anything up here first. But what we'll also do is we'll check over here. So this here is a slight high spot. I'll drag this back and I'll throw it into that back corner. And as you can see, this is not exactly the easiest, most convenient way to work on an area like this, but this is all I can do. Alright guys, it's been a couple hours now. This here is about dry enough. This is still too wet. And then everything else is about the same area. Guys, keep in mind I'm just using a 12 or 14 inch hand trowel, so it's not a bull float or anything like that. But what we'll quickly do is check our elevations. So that's 16 3/4, 16 3/4. Let's not fall in the concrete. That is 17. That is 16.5. So guys, I've already checked all this. I'm about a 1/2 inch. It varies a little bit, but that's typical for concrete. It will never be perfectly level. I mean, even the professionals don't get it perfectly level. But what I'll do is I will wait a little bit longer. I gotta finish doing this and all of this other stuff. And when I am done, I have gotten it as good as I can get it. We'll come back and then we'll see. Guys, once again, concrete will never be perfectly level. I've spent so many years in construction, and I've seen some pretty outrageous things for guys that are supposed to be professionals. Alright guys, this is our slab. Now with the slab done, I mean, I have so much flexibility to fly away. Because without being able to walk on the slab, of course, you're limited to what you can do. But everything looks good. This is 4 days after I poured. So this is going to be cured enough that we can continue along. Guys, it takes 28 days for concrete to fully cure. I'm going to take that out there. We'll take this out here. But, I mean, for the most part, everything looks good. I'm happy with it. Alright guys, so that concludes this job. So what you've seen here is what is considered to be modern code for British Columbia for pouring a concrete slab in a basement. This is not a basement, but it'll be the same thing. The time of this job, the time was about 12 hours. Easily 4 to 5 hours was just concrete curing, because you have to wait for the water to leach out, because it cures in phases. Guys, if you don't wait long enough, everything is just going to turn into a big blob of nothing. The cost of this job, the poly, the concrete, and acoustical sealant and tape, guys, I'm going to say $400. I didn't supply the concrete or the poly, so it's a little more difficult for me to tell you what the cost is. But for this space, I'm very comfortable saying about $400. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope something here is going to help you on your project when you need to go ahead and do that. Guys, until next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.